What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. We've got Monday Night Football. We've got the New York Jets versus Miami Dolphins, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Denver Broncos. We've got tons of analysis. We're attacking this from every single angle. That sounds interesting. Let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
James is here. James, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. We just watched the ending of the Cowboys-Packers game, which was really exciting. So hopefully we get some good games on Monday night. But yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
I appreciate you staying up late to record this. What time is it where you are right now?
It is 12:18.
Yeah. You're young. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll bounce back.
All about it. Yeah.
So we'll be tackling both games, talk about spreads, totals, props. You got it all. As I said in the last Thursday night video, if you don't want to hear all the talk, you can skip to the end. We'll have a summary of the bets that we've got down. No Jason today, but he'll join us for the Thursday night football. Quick shout out to Props Madness. If you're not using Props Madness for your NFL props, what the hell are you doing? Go ahead and check them out. It's going to give you all the advanced filters. It's my go-to when it comes to player props. There's a link for it down below. And if you use the code DAFT, you do get a juicy discount as well. So, James, we'll talk about this game by game. We'll tackle the first one. It's the Jets versus the Dolphins. It looks like it's going to be a tight game. We've got a 2.5-point spread. Games that are expected to be tight are nice because you can attack it from every single angle. The risk is if things don't go exactly to plan. But I wanted to ask you, firstly, in terms of who wins and how, are you leaning a particular way here?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of tough to say. We got two 0-3 teams here.
Yeah.
So you never really know what's going to happen when these teams are so desperate, like you said. I kind of lean Dolphins -2.5. I think the public might have over-invested in the Jets a little bit after scoring 32 points in week 1. I think the Dolphins, they always play better at home. They kind of looked better last week against the Bills, so I think I would probably lean their spread. I'm not going to play it, but if I had to kind of guess how the game's going to go, that's how I would predict.
Well, Justin Fields expected to be back after concussion in week 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but
yeah.
It means they're probably going to run a little bit. That's what I'm thinking with the return of Justin Fields. But what's the first question I've got for you? I looked at these teams, how they rank defensively and stuff like that. Miami, last in scoring, D, like they're giving it up a lot. Do you think this is a high-scoring game?
Yeah. I mean, off of like an initial reaction, I'm sure a lot of people will think it'll be like an ugly primetime game, but the fact that these defenses are both just so bad, I could see both offenses putting together some drives, putting some points on the board. So yeah, I kind of think it'll go over if I had to take a side on the total. But yeah, I think there's going to be points, which leaves us with a few opportunities for some good props.
Yeah. Okay. Let's attack these teams one by one. Let's talk about the Jets first. Firstly, where are they weak defensively, and then we'll talk about whether we can exploit that through any Dolphins props. What comes to mind?
I mean, this Dolphins defense is terrible everywhere. You can pretty much put them all over the field. I found a cool stat that they blitz at the highest rate in the NFL at 42%, but they actually rank dead last in pressure rate. So that's obviously not a good sign. They also rank 32nd in success rate and 32nd in EPA per play. So this defense is terrible. There's no other way to say it. So looking at some ways we can attack this, Fields, I kind of like his rushing yards. The line is pretty high, and he's coming off that concussion, so we don't know how that's going to affect him. But again, the Dolphins blitz at the highest rate in the NFL, so he'll likely be forced out of the pocket. They like to incorporate some designed runs, so that's the first lean I have. Do you have anything on Fields?
I was thinking the same thing. The rushing yards is what interests me. It is quite high, but they pretty much set the line based on where he's performed in his first 2 weeks. Coming back from a concussion, I'm not sure if he's had one before and how he's performed, but the matchup is prime for him to do well on the ground. It's just about whether this is the right number, right? Because you could have the perfect matchup, but if the number's not right, you probably can't play it. wanted to look at his rush attempts, and they pretty much set that where his average is at the moment. So 8.5. So it's difficult to say. Do you know when he got injured in this game against the Bills, or was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like midway through the game. I'm not exactly sure what
Oh
quarter.
yeah, it was only
but
62% of the game
yeah.
of offensive snaps. So yeah, a bit over half the game. So yeah, either the attempts or the rushing yards. I think that interests me in this type of matchup. I think whether they're trailing or whether they're ahead, I think he's still going to run. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's not so script dependent. It's really based on the Dolphins and that defense. If the blitz is going to be there, then force him out of the pocket and go. So yeah, I'm aligned with you and thinking it's a good play. I just got to crunch some numbers to see if the number is right.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
All right.
next look I was looking at actually, it was in the running game. I was looking at Breece Hall. His rushing line opened at 47.5, but it's now all the way up at 56.5. So a lot of line movement there. I think it's a good spot for him. The Dolphins allow the 5th most yards on the ground and the 2nd most yards per carry. So they've been getting gashed on the ground. I think he could have a good game, but it's kind of similar to Fields where the line is kind of high, and I don't love getting the worst value on a bet. So I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Breece?
I actually had this as the over. This is one of the bets that I really liked, taking Breece Hall over his rushing yards. I think having Fields there, if anything, it helps the ground game because I think just naturally teams run the ball when Fields is a QB. Like,
Yeah.
whether it's the matchup is right or not, I think they dominate the ball, and I think they run the ball a lot. Like I was going to talk about Tua probably not hitting his passing yards or his attempts because of just how focal the ground game is going to be for the Jets. So I do like the aspect of his rushing yards. I didn't know that it opened at 46.5 though.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit.
So that sucks, but I have a feeling that this could still move up to 60.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense to bet Breece Hall in his rushing yards. So this is one of the ones that I was definitely going to play. I was going to bet that over.
I might hop on that with you.
So.
For some context, in week 1 he looked really good. He was explosive. He looked fresh. And then week 2 was obviously a big blowout where the Jets were
injured. Yeah,
exactly. And then week 3, the Bucs are elite against the run. So that kind of explains the first 3 weeks, and I think he could be in for a good game here. So yeah, I think I'm on the same page there.
Yeah, I like it. Honestly, I do. So Breece Hall, he's rushing yards. I wanted to ask you because obviously I'm looking at value plays, and I've had a lot of success betting on running backs. Do you have any thoughts around his receiving yards or receptions?
Yeah, I took a look at them. One thing that kind of scares me away is that the Dolphins play a lot of man coverage. So typically when you see a defense play man, they kind of stick, a linebacker on the running back, and they're not open as much in the flats. So I don't hate the look. I don't really have too much conviction either way. But yeah, do you have any strong leans there?
Well, I'd want to bet he's under in receptions. Really, that's what the lean would be if they're going to run it a lot. Target wise, 4-3. He had 6 here, but that was with Tyrod.
Yeah.
So not with Fields. With Fields, he's going to get maybe 3 looks. Might get 3 targets. And if the line's at 3.5, it's a juice to the under, but with these value plays, I'm looking to parlay them. So I'd be leaning towards the under in Breece Hall receptions. But I obviously like his rushing yards. They're over to that a little bit more.
Do you like his rush attempts?
We're looking at 14.5. I think, Well, I think the rush attempts, right? It's game script dependent, but it's also dependent on how successful he is running.
Right.
Whereas the rushing yards could cash the rushing yards still on low attempts with a big play. Yeah. Whereas, the rushing attempts is going to be very script dependent. And the Dolphins are favorites in this game. So, the Jets might be chasing some points here. So they probably don't run it with Breece as often. That I'm not too sure about. Like the rush attempts, I like to tie that to the game script. And with the game script with this one, it could be close. It could be Dolphins up by a touchdown the majority of this game. I don't know how that's going to go. So in terms of the attempts, I'm not too sure. But I know that the Dolphins aren't good on the ground, and it only takes 2 or 3 big runs here for Breece to catch that rushing yards line. So I'll probably lean to the rushing yards. That's my first glance anyway. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's talk about some Jets receivers. Do you have any looks there?
Yeah. I was considering Garrett Wilson's yards. He's put up some elite numbers versus man coverage, and like I said, the Dolphins love to play man.
Yeah.
Also, the Miami secondary is really banged up right now. Storm Duck, who I know we talked about last week, he's out, and then Jason Marshall is also out, who are two of their top corners. So Garrett Wilson will be going up against backups. He had a really good week 1 with Fields, and they played together in college too. So there's a connection there. I haven't bet that yet, but that's one of my leans. And then the only other receiver I looked at was actually their tight end, Mason Taylor, at 20.5 yards. The Dolphins allow the most targets to inline players. So that's like a tight end who's got his hand in the dirt going out for a pass. But other tight ends have played really well against the Dolphins. Tyler Warren had 76 yards, Kincaid had 66 yards, and Austin Hooper had 38 yards. So, there's a good track record of tight ends against this Dolphins defense, and I think we're buying low a little bit here on the rookie. But yeah, you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I think the matchup is perfect. The concern is Fields. Fields doesn't like him. Well, I made that part up, but he doesn't throw the ball to him much. Is the only hesitation. So the matchup is perfect, but Fields doesn't throw to tight ends that often. So that's my only hesitation on it. Like his reception line, we're looking at 2.5. Yeah. So 3 targets in 2 games with Fields. That's probably my only worry. But I don't know what the matchup was. Steelers, Bills. They might have been shit matchups for a tight end, so you probably wouldn't bother looking, right? So that's
the other thought there is that those first 2 games were his first 2 games in the NFL. So
true.
He might have been getting used to kind of the way things go, and he might be a little bit more settled in now. But just a lean there. But thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah. I'm with you on Garrett Wilson. I had this as a look. I think the line was like 57, 58 when I initially looked at it. But I was like, I always take wide receivers with a grain of salt. Yeah. But out of all the wide receivers in this particular game, Garrett Wilson's at the top of my list. So I definitely like it. He's performed quite well. I think on Monday games, I think I might have seen a stat on that. But this Miami defense is dog shit, right? It's like I'm just weighing up in my mind like what this Jets offense is going to look like. Like Fields can run, Breeze can run. They're not going to run 100% of the time, is what I'm thinking. And I think you can lean on the fact that they're going to be not necessarily chasing points too aggressively, but playing from behind. So I do like the look of Garrett Wilson to get some receiving yards. It's just between now and the next 15 to 20 minutes as we do this video, I'll be looking to lock in one of them at the very least. But given my gambling addiction, I'll probably lock them all in, to be honest. Garrett Wilson, I do like the receiving yards. Do you think he gets targeted heavily, or do you think he just does a great job on the corners? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to tell. He did have a bunch of catches in week 1 with Fields. And, I mean, he's a great receiver. He's just kind of stuck in a bad offense. I kind of think, I lead in yards more than receptions just because he's a good, downfield threat. But, yeah, I don't have too many thoughts on his receptions line.
Yeah. It's like a 5.5 reception line. It's quite high.
Yeah.
I was just curious to see, what do the yards look like if he's going to get at least 6? That's one thing I was thinking. You're just saying, God damn, the filters be crazy. No, let's just take a look. Let's say he gets between 6 and 8 receptions. 81 receiving yards on average. Okay. I like it. 81 receiving yards, cover this in 7 out of 10 games. So if the reception line is sharp, then the receiving yards definitely on. So, yeah, I'm down for receiving yards for Garrett Wilson. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip the script then. Let's talk about this Jets defense. Where do they suck? How do the Dolphins score? What's this Dolphins offense going to look like? Do you have any thought process on the QB first? What about Tua? Provided he doesn't get injured, how do you think he plays?
I know you kind of mentioned that you're looking to fade Tua. It's actually a pretty solid matchup for him. He's averaging 273 passing yards at home over the past 3 seasons.
Mm.
And I know he's kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of, his play, and he's a little bit less of a playmaker now. But in his one home game this season, he had a 115.5 pass rating and threw for 315 yards against the Pats. And the Jets also play a lot of man coverage. They play man at the 8th highest frequency, and Tua has been better against man in his career. So I think he could be in for a solid game. I'm not
Yeah.
on any of his props personally, but I'm going to be attacking the air through one of the wide receivers here. But yeah, any thoughts on Tua?
That was really it. I was more looking at his attempts,
Mhm.
and I was thinking if the Jets are going to keep the ball on the ground a lot, it's just going to limit how much time he has. It's not to say he's not going to do well, but I was just questioning how many attempts he'll be able to get out.
Yeah.
32.5, it's not the number that I was hoping for. So no other looks on tour for me. I know you're going to want to attack the air for the Dolphins, but do you have any thoughts on the guys on the ground?
I honestly don't have too much on these guys. I mean, Achan is obviously the pass catching back, and Ollie Gordon is kind of their thumper between the 20s, short, down and distance. So, yeah, I don't really have too much on these guys. Do you have any leans here or plays already?
No, nothing for the Dolphins, purely because there's not a significant edge, I would say, in terms of matchup. Plus,
Yeah.
also, I'm not overly confident in how the game script goes. And with these running backs, it's like what they do is very dependent on the game situation at the time, and I don't know what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
I know that the Jets have a quarterback who, I don't want to say can't throw, doesn't throw. So like running has to be the main option,
Yeah.
whereas the Dolphins can do a bit of both. So they're not forced into needing to run. So yeah, I've got nothing on the Dolphins.
Cool.
All right, let's talk about these receivers. You want to attack through the air. What are you thinking? Is
Yeah,
it Waddle? Yeah, Waddle.
Yes. My favorite play in this game is Jalen Waddle over 50.5. This is a great spot. He's been really good against the Jets in his career. Actually, he's averaging 99.8 yards in his last 4 matchups with them, and that included a 114-yard game, a 142-yard game, and a 99-yard game. So he's also better at home, like I mentioned, Tua, and this offense kind of flows a little bit better when they're in Miami. He's cleared this line in 9 of 15 home games over the last 3 seasons, and he's averaging 74 yards in those contests. But as far as the matchup, the Jets kind of have a struggling defense as well. They obviously have Sauce Gardner, who I expect to spend a lot of time on Tyreek Hill.
On Tyreek, yeah.
But they've struggled with explosive plays. They rank bottom 6 in explosive pass rate allowed at 10.4%. And they're giving up the most 20-plus yard completions in the NFL. So that's kind of right in Waddle's wheelhouse. He's kind of that vertical threat, yak threat. And Waddle is currently ranking 6th in pass rating when targeted on those 20-plus yard downfield throws. So, again, we've said this multiple times, but the Jets like to play man coverage. And if Sauce is on Tyreek, I think Waddle can have a solid game here at home in Miami. I think he gets loose for a couple explosive plays downfield.
Yeah, I had that on one of my leans as well, and pretty much very similar bullet points to you. I do like the Waddle look. Again, my only hesitation is the fact that it's a wide receiver.
They're tough to bet on, man.
Yeah, but I think you've got Tyreek as the number 1 option, but outside of him, unless they go short every single time with Achan, then no one else is going to be catching it, right? So I like to look for Waddle. I think the number's right. The head-to-head history, how he performs at home, how he performs in this type of matchup, it all makes sense. Like all signs point to yes there for Waddle. So you've talked me into it. I had it as a lean, but I'll likely now bet it knowing that you are.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Let's do it. All right, cool. I don't want to talk about kickers props. We're not doing tackles and assists. Is there anything else that caught your eye in this game, though, before we move to the next one?
I think that was pretty much it for me. Yeah, I think we kind of covered it all.
Okay, cool. Let's bounce into the next one. Bengals versus the Broncos. I think, well, this is an hour, so there's going to be a point where you got to decide: do we watch the Bengals or do we watch the Jets play? But let's talk a little bit about this.
This game here, we can kind of predict the game script a
Yes.
little bit better. Denver has covered the spread in 75% of their home games, or that was last year. So we can have confidence in them at home. Bo Nix hasn't looked as good this year as he did last year. But, yeah, I think it's kind of a get-right spot for Denver at home going against the backup QB. But
Okay, let's tackle this. Let's go QBs first. Bo Nix, Jake Browning. Which team do you want to attack first? Let's go with the Broncos. Let's tackle the Broncos first.
Cool. Yeah.
We're
Bo Nix
assuming they're
hasn't.
playing from in front, right?
Say that again?
We're assuming they're going to be playing from in front.
I think that's fair to assume. I think the Bengals are actually going to keep it relatively competitive. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. Just because Bo Nix hasn't played up to the same caliber as we kind of expected him to this year. But the Broncos obviously have a really good defense. So I think this one will be a little bit more low scoring.
Low scoring. Yeah.
As far as Bo Nix, though, he's kind of struggled to start the year. He hasn't cleared his passing yards line once. I don't really have too much on Nix. I like some of his weapons in this spot, but yeah, do you have any leans on his yards, his touchdowns, attempts, anything like that?
I'm a little bit biased. I think last year I won a lot of money on Bo Nix running. I haven't had a bet on Bo Nix this season, so yeah, I've got no looks on him whatsoever. I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's kind of a volatile guy. He throws a lot of deep balls. There's a lot going on. He's scrambling, running around out there. So
Yeah.
Tough player to bet on, but yeah.
All right, let's take a look at some rushing yards then.
Yeah. Starting off with J.K. Dobbins, I guess.
Yes,
he's
sir.
there, but I think he's in line for a solid game here. Line has also been bumped up. I think it opened at 58.5, so people have been betting this one up. They know Broncos are going to be ahead, and the Bengals suck at defending the run. So I think it's kind of a straightforward look here. I think the line is pretty accurate, so I haven't taken a bet on the over, but yeah, I think I think he's going to have a solid game.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think this was the only bet that I was down to lock in for this game without talking to you. But then I told myself I wouldn't play this if it moves over 65, and it moved like aggressively from the 59 I was looking at before. Yeah. Now it's probably at that point where if it moves again, I'm not going to bet it. But I do like the look, and it's very straightforward. It's very similar to all the other players that I've taken and done quite well on, very game script dependent. And we can lean on the fact that they're going to be playing on the front. They keep it on the ground and he runs, right? So, yeah, I'm supportive of it. But if this moves, then the more it moves, the more hesitant I become. So, yeah, I feel like where it's at now, I'd probably say is just right. If it moves any more, then, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned with it. But J.K. Dobbins, I do like the look. He's been playing extremely well this season. And now with the right game script against I'd say an average defense, I just think the volume should be there for him.
Yeah. One look I did have on him was his receiving yards. Sorry.
Yes, he
hasn't really been involved in the passing game. When I looked at it earlier, it was at 10.5, so he hadn't gone over the line all season, but I guess he's since moved. Yeah, he hasn't been too heavily involved. If we're expecting the Broncos to be ahead and keeping it on the ground, that could be a look. And also, they might try to involve R.J. Harvey and Tyler Bidet, who are their two backup running backs, who are both good pass catchers. So I think that's a potential look. I would think about going under there, but the line is low. So you're playing a risky game. But yeah,
that's the type of game I like to play. I can see a value play for J.K. Dobbins already. All right, cool. Sticking with the Broncos, did you have anything in terms of their receivers?
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk through this one with you. Evan Ingram over 17.5 yards. I mean, it seems like a pretty disrespectful line. If you filter to all of his last 3 seasons, he's gone over this line in 25 of his last 28 games. So I guess the reason why the line is so low is because he's coming off an injury, and he didn't have too much usage in his first 2 weeks. But the Broncos did bring him in to be like this joker sort of player where they're going to use him all over the field. And he's obviously an athletic guy, a good player. Saw 4 targets week 1, 2 targets in week 2 before leaving with that injury. But the concern there is the snap percentage. He just didn't really play all that many snaps, which is somewhat concerning. But the Cincinnati defense is not good through the air, so I think there are a couple ways to attack this. As far as other tight ends against this defense, Harold Fannin had 63 yards, and Njoku had 37 yards, and Hawkinson had 49 yards. So they've given up yards to tight ends. I don't know if this is how we want to attack it, but do you have any thoughts on Ingram?
Well, I have a confession to make that I bet this immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without looking at any numbers, really, purely because I got given this at like over 17.5 at plus 120. And I was like, yeah, I'll bet that. Because I already know like that is not priced correctly. So I just bet it straight away. Now that we're talking about it, it's like historically he's smashed this, right? But now he's in a new team, new system, not being used the same way as he previously did. Yeah, I think the line's right, to be honest. The matchup is nice, but then we don't know how much time he's going to get. We don't know what the snap count is going to look like, how many targets he's going to get. Hopefully he does. Does he make the yards? I hope he does because I've already bet this. But would I encourage everybody else to bet it? Probably not. I think I can see a little bit of risk in it.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing with him is that he kind of affects the whole offense. We don't really know what it's going to look like with him back in the picture. Troy Franklin is another receiver who was playing a lot in the slot. So we don't know if Ingram comes in, if he kind of bumps Troy Franklin either out of the lineup or out wide. It kind of throws things off a little bit here. I don't know. Troy Franklin's line is pretty low though, and he's a good player. Played with Bo Nix in college as well. So I think that he could have a potentially good game.
So they're the two receivers that have your attention?
Yeah, I mean, Cortland Sutton, good receiver. I think his line is pretty accurate, though, and he's a volatile guy, a lot of deep bombs. So probably staying away from him, but yeah.
It's like 100 or nothing. Exactly. He's going to hit 100 or nothing. Yeah, I don't like volatile guys like that. That'd be painful. Sweaty as. All right, cool. You ready to switch over to the Bengals?
Yeah, let's do it. I got a few reads on that side of the ball. So,
beautiful.
Yeah.
What about Mr. Browning? You have any thoughts on Mr. Browning?
I do. I actually think he's going to have a better game this week than he did last week. Everyone saw his interceptions and how poorly he played, but the Vikings defense is not one to be messed with. And there are a lot of like confusing looks. They blitz a lot. They play cover 2. And Jake Browning has historically not been good against zone. But when he subbed in for Burrow in 2023, I thought he was actually pretty solid. He led the Bengals to a 4-3 record. And he was quietly really good against man coverage. He had a 137.9 passer rating against man. So he was good. He was very good in college. He was a Heisman candidate. I think he's better than he showed last week. And he had a pretty solid week when he came in mid-game for Burrow, so against the Jaguars. So I think he could have a pretty solid game here. I don't have any bets on him, but I do like some of his receivers, which we can get into in a little bit.
Yeah, this is a nice matchup for him to throw against.
Yeah, exactly. The Broncos have a pretty good defense. Historically, their secondary has been really good. They have Pat Surtain. It's going to be in Denver, so that's always a tough spot. But I think they kind of need to step up after the poor performance last week. These are professionals. They don't want to be embarrassed. So it's going to be on national TV. I think Jake Browning is in for a better game here.
And he keeps it tighter.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, he was throwing – I think he had 3 interceptions last week.
Oh, you can't get any worse, right? So – and he still managed to throw 1 passing touchdown. His 2 passing touchdowns is a crazy plus money.
Yeah, that's a potential look. I don't mind that.
Just taking a look. So they're expecting him to throw the ball a lot. 32.5 attempts, 21.5 completions. If he's going to do that, then these passing yards seem quite low. I'll add it to my list. I don't mind Mr. Browning here. Let's jump into the receiving yards because we're talking about the air right now, and then we'll get to go back to the ground. Who's got your attention here?
So I like T. Higgins here. His line is at 49.5 on DraftKings. I'm kind of staying away from Chase just because his line is a bit higher and he's going to have Surtain on him. So that's the defensive player of the year from last year. I'm going to stay away from that one. But in this spot for Higgins, the Broncos run man coverage at the second highest rate in the NFL at 45.6%. So that's actually where Higgins is best. Against man, he has a 4.14 yards per out run and an ADOT of 15 yards. So he's kind of built to beat man vertically. He's tall. He's a good route runner. So the combination of him being really good against man and Browning being better against man, I think lines up for, a solid matchup here. And then, like I mentioned, Surtain going to be on Chase, and I expect Higgins to see a lot of I'm blanking on his name. Oh, Riley Moss. He is the cornerback 2 for the Broncos, and he got absolutely torched by Higgins last year for 131 yards. And that was with Burrow, but the Bengals were completely attacking him. Higgins was kind of their main guy in that game. So both teams also ranked top 10 in pace. So I think, the Broncos are going to be trying to establish the ground game. They're going to also be throwing, but I think for the most part, the Bengals are going to be relying on the pass. And with Chase Brown kind of, sucking on the ground, he's been terrible. I think the Bengals are going to have to throw here, and I like Higgins to get 50 plus in this spot.
Yeah, that's nice. I like the analysis there. You might have twisted my arm.
Yeah,
playing some Higgins.
Yeah, might have to get on that.
He's got a relatively low reception line, so yeah, that deep ball is really what they're banking on here with T. Higgins. Okay, I'm down for that. Is there anybody else in terms of receiving?
We looked at Yoshi Voss a few weeks ago. His line is pretty low again, and he did pretty well with Jake Browning 2 years ago. In a few of those games, they were missing either Chase or Higgins, so that kind of throws a wrench in things a little bit. I'm probably staying away, but he could have some ladder potential because he could go for like 40 yards. Especially with the game script we expect. But yeah, I don't know. Not too many thoughts on the other Bengals pass catchers.
Yeah, well, it's such a low line, and
yeah, exactly.
Like he's going to be on the field for a long time, you'd assume, right? We've only got one game, but he was on there for 84% of the snaps. He got targeted 5 times. He only just happened to catch 1, unfortunately. So 11.5 does seem quite low. And I think the best way to probably tackle this is with a ladder, I would say. Because you'd probably get amazing odds at 20.
Yeah.
And 30. Might be worth spreading 1 unit just across all 3 just to see. But it's probably a more value look. All right, let's look about what about the Bengals on the ground?
Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts on this one. If anything, I'd be betting Chase Brown to go under his rushing yards.
You're a hater.
He had 10 carries for like 3 yards last week. That is dreadful. I have never seen a running back put up those numbers. Again, good defense, but it's not getting any easier this week on the ground. So, I think I'd be fading Chase Brown, but I don't know. I'm scared to pull the trigger just because he's a solid player and he sees a lot of volume. But do you have any thoughts?
I'm more thinking of the combination of taking his under in rushing yards and potentially over in receptions. There's no other reason why, apart from the fact that me running that combo has been very profitable for me for many running backs. It's like if I get a sense they're not going to do very well on the ground, then if they have the potential to play to get some receptions, then I just take that, and it's worked extremely well. I hit it with Saquon. I hit it with Christian McCaffrey.
Under you hit it with H-N Thursday night last week, didn't you?
Hit on H-N last Thursday. Like it's one of the systems that I have, and I think if you're, because the running back position is so important. If you're going to be out there for a long time, like if you're going to be out there, you got to do something, right? You're not running a decoy the whole time. So if you're not making yards on the ground, then you got to be that outlet a couple of times. So I'm thinking taking the under in rushing yards, taking him over in receptions. So that way I only have to run half a unit at most.
Yeah.
And I'll probably get plus 200, plus 250 for that. So
like that.
Yeah, that's what I'd be thinking. Nothing on these QBs to run. We've got Browning, Bo Nix.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a tough game to read. But like I said, I think Browning has a bounce back here. Knicks, I have no idea what he's going to do, so I'll stay away from him. But
He doesn't know what he's going to do either.
yeah.
You're not alone. Okay. All right. Let's get into the summary then of what we've got over the two games. I know we went through a lot of leans and what we're thinking, but for those who didn't listen to the context of everything that we've gone through, what are the players that you're definitely going to be playing?
Yeah.
Let's start with this Jets versus Dolphins first.
My favorite play in that game is Jalen Waddle over 50.5. That's my one locked-in play right now. And like we said, a bunch of leans there. But how about you? What was your lock in the Jets-Dolphins game?
Lock as in I'm going to bet it, not lock as if it's going to win. Probably Garrett Wilson. I was about to say Breece Hall, but then I was like, Breece Hall could run, Fields could run. Who the fuck's going to run here? So I'm torn between those two, but Garrett Wilson over in his receiving yards. I'd say that is locked in for that Jets versus Dolphins game. I do like the Waddle play that you have as well, so I'll likely play that as well. Bengals and Broncos. What have you locked in already?
Yeah. My favorite play is that T. Higgins over 49.5 receiving yards. That's my favorite play on the board just because I think Browning's going to have a solid game here. And T. Higgins is great versus man coverage. So that's my one play as of now. I know we talked about Evan Ingram, which I'm still considering, but how about you?
Just Dobbins. I think if it's still at the 64.5 by the time we finish this recording and I get a chance to bet it, then I'll likely bet that. But you've also talked me into Waddle as well. So some solid analysis right there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. And then I'm going to take all those other leans, blend them together. I actually just took a look at my sports book. You know how I said I already bet Evan Ingram because they gave me crazy odds for it? I bet J.K. Dobbins to score a touchdown as well because
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I might have bet the Bengals plus 7.5. But those are bets that I'm not encouraging other people to take. Those are ones that are just pounded immediately. But look, quite a good set of looks. We've got what? I'm not going to count them, but we probably have 5 to 6 plays over the two games. And given all the leans that we have, we'll likely end up with more. But excited for this Monday night. James, I'll leave the link to your Twitter down below. So if anyone wants to see what he's doing, he's getting busy on there. Follow him on Twitter. If it's your first time watching this channel, be sure to subscribe. We're doing NFL content 2 to 3 times per week. And then when the NBA strikes, we'll be doing this every single day. James, it's been an absolute pleasure. Everybody, I'll catch you in the next one. Gamble responsibly. Peace.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.